Hi, my name is Nurul Farina. Based on my moral judgment on the issue of sexual harassment, I think it is a big issue that should not be happen in our country, Malaysia. This is because sexual harassment activities is one of an immoral actions. All the citizens in Malaysia, including me, should protest these sexual harassment activities from happening in our country since it will give a negative effects to the victims, any individuals, and also the society. The negative effects of these sexual harassment activities is that the victim will feel trauma with the situation. They also distance themselves from others since they afraid that the others also take the advantage of sexual harassment to them. Not only that, their mental health and also physical health will drop from time to time since they are afraid of the situation and they also think about the situation all the times. And the person or the victim also think that their freedom is distracted. They will not living their lifestyles as usual. They are afraid. Based on the theory of the consequentialisms, this theory emphasized that the consequence of an immoral action and moral actions. The actions that give the positive and good consequence is categorized as moral actions, while the actions that give the negative effects will define as the immoral actions. So as a person or individual, we have to think of an action that will give a positive and good effects to the person surrounding us. So if we think that the action is good, then we have to do it. But in this context of sexual harassment issue, this is will give a negative effects to the person around us. So it will define as an immoral actions. So as a person, we have to avoid these sexual harassment issues since it will give very bad implications to the persons and also the country. It will affect the reputation of a country. So I strongly object these sexual harassment activities by any individual since it will affect affects the country and also the victims. So that's all from me. Thank you.
A very good day to Madam. My name is Lashini Murugan. My matrix number is 287012. I'm from Group F. I'm here to present about my moral judgment on the given topic, which is sexual harassment. In my opinion, different cultures and personal views influence how we see terms like dear or sayang in a workplace setting. Personally, I find these terms inappropriate to use in a workplace. As for an example, the Public Service Commission now considers using such terms such as dear and sayang along with sexting as workplace sexual harassment. It is important for us to consider the context and individual feelings when understanding these phrases in diverse cultures. Furthermore, blaming on someone's clothes for harassment shifts blame from the wrongdoer to the victim. This goes against values like respect and consent. For instance, content deontology highlights the importance of respecting people's autonomy regardless of their attire. Sexual harassment disregards these principles, demeaning individuals regardless of their appearance. Blaming someone's clothes for harassment overlooks the real issues, which is the perpetrator behavior. Instead, we should focus on teaching respect and holding accountable for those who behave badly. Other than that, the impact of sexual harassment extends beyond immediate discomfort, often causing profound emotional suffering, psychological trauma, and impeding both career and personal development. It fosters a culture of fear, diminishes trust, perpetuates inequality, and hinders individuals' ability to thrive while also compromising teamwork and productivity. In conclusion, utilitarianism also focuses on overall well-being, supports opposing sexual harassment due to its widespread negative impact on individuals and work environment. My objection to sexual harassment comes from seeing its widespread harm. Ethically, I stand for respecting everyone's dignity, autonomy, and ensuring well-being. This drives me to advocate and for an environment that uphold fundamental rights, respect, and safety and equality for everyone involved. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
From my point of view, sexual harassment is a severe social problem that many individuals experience worldwide. As a result of its classification as a form of sex discrimination, it is illegal in the US. I firmly believe that sexual harassment should be addressed and prevented in all contexts since it can seriously harm the careers and well-being of people who are impacted. Furthermore, the establishment of a safe workplace and an ethic-driven organizational culture depend on the promotion of values and standards that influence decision, behaviors, and interpersonal connection. To put it successful, one must weigh moral principles like justice, non-harm, and respect for people alongside factual data about sexual harassment, including its frequency, forms, and ethical and legal responsibility.
Assalamualaikum to Madam and fellow friends. My name is Siti Faatihah binti Awang with metric number 284434, and I would like to explain about the effect of sexual harassment. As known, sexual harassment is one of the serious issues that being recognized by the world, where the safety of individual being highlighted. And I aggressively agree that sexual harassment brings serious harm to the victim with the very serious effect. So, seeing the result of attempting this issue, that it is too late. The careers are destroyed, individual emotional distress. The one involved will need to face that their reputation will be damaged, with harasser being called as criminals and victim called as sluts. Production and morality decline, and organizations between that needs to face serious financial crisis where there are turnover workers, lawsuits, negotiations between parties and involved trade unions. They also fire managers. So in determining moral decisions based on the issue that is being discussed, using factual informations that in evaluating adequacy, this type of evidence is cited to support a person's judgments that it must be accurate, relevant, and complete. Students also experience something worse like this at their institutions, where 80% of them had been exposed to some form of sexual harassment, regardless of their genders, between either men or women. So I found that there are some myths about sexual harassment, where sometimes it is called as crime of perceptions, where when saying no should make it stop, but in men they still believe it's right, it's mean right or yes. The moral theory that been accomplished and I feel is related to the issue is deontology. It is used to distinguish from right to the wrong. The action that been accomplished by the persons, where it can be clear what is good or bad according to the rules of humanitarian that being introduced. The moral reasoning that I feel when reviewing this issue is violence to the security of women's rights, whereas women need to always caution, no matter what they do, where they go and who they deal with, and it's bring the serious impact to the world and safety of people. And that's all from me for the moral judgment. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Norain Nabila binti Zainal Abidin. My metric number is 285288. Today I'm going to present about my moral judgment from the issue of sexual harassment. From my point of view, I personally support the issue of sexual harassment as it brings damage to the victim. We should spread awareness about sexual harassment to the community, especially women and also students. As I mentioned earlier, women has the most reported cases every year, but sexual harassment happens to everyone regarding their gender and age. In that case, men are also a victim. Everyone should take this issue seriously as it brings consequences to the victim's life. Consent, legal standard, and impact on victims are taken into consideration in making wise decisions. All people engaged should have clear communication and engage in consenting voluntary sexual encounters. People should have knowledge of relevant laws and regulation. Comprehending the legal structure offers a foundation for evaluating the circumstances. Numerous legal systems contain laws that identify and forbid sexual harassment from happening. It helps the victims to gain justice as it affects the victim's emotion, physical, and psychological, as well as their work or education life. Fair treatment, impartiality, and accountability are essential elements of ethical decision making. Cases reported from women victims are more than men. As of 477 cases reported in 2022, the majority of cases were filed by women and more than 90% of the cases reported involved women. From this issue, cases involving sexual harassment can teach us about many moral concepts and ideals. A lot of moral values can be drawn from examples of sexual harassment such as consent, empathy, justice, fairness, and also courage. One of the main moral I learned is the importance consent. As essential ethical precept is to respect others' autonomy and make sure that any sexual encounters are consensual. Victims of sexual harassment may experience severe mental suffering. Compassion and a feeling of our common humanity may be nurtured by being aware of and sympathetic to the experiences of people who are impacted. Justice and fairness emphasize how crucial it is to handle sexual harassment objectively, making sure that those who are accused of harassing others, as well as the victims, receive equal treatment. Victims who share their experience show moral courage, fostering and sustaining a culture where individuals feel empowered to speak out against harassment requires courage at both the individual and organizational levels.